Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Andrews, and I am back being accompanied by my good buddy,
Mr. Anderson.
And you are tuning in to the Movie Joint, and we are bringing you guys our final review of
our little It-themed couple weeks here.
Yeah, this is the original It Part 2, and let's just this movie is really a downfall compared to original Part 1, in my opinion. The original Part 1 had such great, memorable characters.
The nostalgia.
And Pennywise was so good, and it was so good because Pennywise was new and fresh. And all the scenes were done really, really well. In this, I felt like it has a few really, really good scenes, and then the rest were really stale.
Of the two movies, this one probably didn't hold up as good as the first one. Yeah. I'll give it that. I still like it. I don't know if I would have did that. That's harsh. But yeah, it definitely doesn't hold up as good as the first part.
No.
I like it. It still gives me that reminiscent vibe, like when I was a young boy and afraid, and that, I don't know, I like it. I liked it enough to watch it again. I watched it last week because it was seamlessly attached to the first part, and I just couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to watch it again to take some notes, and which I forgot, but I took notes, I just didn't bring them. So I watched it again, and I was still entertained.
I mean, I was entertained watching it. There's a few scenes that, just like in the remake, they're there, and I was smiling and I was enjoying it because the characters were having fun. And I knew that they deserved to have that fun because of what the characters were going through.
A lot.
And they were able to, have that enjoyment. But there's still a lot of stuff in this film that is just very, in part
1990.
Very, very TV movie-esque, and all that. I did enjoy it. I did not like it. I think it's the worst out of all of them.
I could probably agree with that. Yeah.
Because the new ones are so good,
too.
The
new ones are way better than the old ones.
Yeah.
I mean...
And so,
and
with
seeing
that
the whole
said,
thing completed tonight, it was just like, it was nice, man. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with that being said, with all the things, it is enjoyable. Some of the characters are okay. Richie was still pretty funny.
Yeah.
I got to give Richie that. But it didn't hold up for me. And with that being said, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
A 5 out of 10, you guys. 6.5. Got enough of the clown. A lot of the funny, scary humor. Like, it still does it for me. It is the... I don't want to say worst because I like it, but the worst of the 4 total movies.
Yeah.
The second part of the original movies.
It is the lesser of the 4.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hands down.
Definitely. Okay, so now, we did that. Let's talk in depth.
Let's get into it.
Everybody has probably seen this movie.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to talk about. But it starts out with Bill showing up.
In the taxi.
And he
goes
to Georgie's grave. And that's where he sees Pennywise.
He's like, oh, how could I forget? Oh, I'm sorry, Georgie. And then he looks over, and then we got Pennywise over there. Like, hi, Billy boy. Digging graves.
He's like, pick one. Oh,
anyone
except
you
for the
want,
one on the last.
Except that one that's already taken. That was fucking awesome. That was awesome.
He's great as Pennywise.
He's like, it's not real. It's not real. And he looks over, and it's gone. At that point, we already know Stan's dead.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Nobody else knows. but that's who's in the grave.
And then Bill goes to meet up with Mike. They meet up in the library.
To the library. It's like, oh, hey, bye, buddy, how you doing? Blah.
Yeah, they're all having their bonding moment and all that. And that's where Mike takes him. They leave the library. Mike takes him and shows him Silver.
Yeah, look what I picked up. And then, ironically enough, 3 weeks before that, I just bought this at random on an impulse. And it was the bike tire patch kit because Silver had a flat tire.
Yep. And then it cuts from them. It comes back to them later, but it cuts from them. We already know that Mike made all the calls. You know, that was in the first movie. Richie arrives back in town.
Drives by the theater.
He sees on the theater sign, in loving memory of Richie Tozier, 1950 to 1990. And it freaks him out.
Yeah.
He rushes into the library, talking to the lady. I need to see Mike, blah, blah, blah. She said he's not here, but he'll be back. And he's freaking out. And he sits down, and he starts hearing a voice. And the guy next to him is like, what are you babbling about? And then next thing you know, all these balloons start showing up. Are they falling? Yeah, they're falling down.
Well, he's talking to him too, like, get out. Get out while you can.
Yeah.
It's like,
you shouldn't have come back. You need to leave. And all these balloons come down, and then they start popping into everybody's face.
Blood.
You see all the blood. And it pops into his face. And he runs back over to the librarian.
You tell Mike. And then he starts getting louder and louder because you got Pennywise in the background talking smack and cracking jokes and spinning this noisy thing. Hey, he's like, you got Prince Albert in a can? Awesome. Richie is horrified.
He was like, is your refrigerator running? Well, anybody gonna catch it?
It was so funny.
Oh my God.
He's the most apprehensive of the whole group, though, in that movie. Even more so than Little Wheezy, and, you know, Stan killed himself, so we ain't counting him. But he was ready to leave all the way until the end.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to leave and convince some of them to want to leave even.
He wasn't in for it at all.
He was, definitely not in for it.
And so then he gets in his car and he drives off, and then it cuts over and it shows Ben. We see the older version of Ben in the car. I put it on my note. I thought it was so funny. 1990-esque, big, freaking squared cell phone with the antenna that pulls
big,
up.
Giant 3-pound big block.
With the antenna, you pull it up.
Oh man!
It's just that was so funny to see that.
So he tells the cabbie to wait for him, and he stops at the creek. So he goes down to the creek or whatever, you know, and he starts having the flashback or whatever, and then sees this little chubby kid getting bully chased down the hill, and they shove dude down and they go on, and he walks over and helps little buddy up, you know.
Tells him stay strong,
yeah.
You know, blah blah blah, everything will be okay later on.
Then he hears a voice too, and he looks over, and it's like this skeleton, all like standing on top of the water, all waterlogged and dead and rotted. And it was his dad's voice. Yeah. It was his dad's voice. That was crazy. And then it was Pennywise. Yep. And then he stops seeing it, he goes back into the taxi. And while they're driving down the road, there's Pennywise on the side of the road with the... It was awesome. He's so uncaring and ruthless and vindictive and all that. Great character. Yeah. Love Pennywise. Yeah. And then that's when it cuts over and it brings us Eddie. Eddie arrives at the shop, and we get the whole flashback where the old man, or the shop
guy, try to convince him that he wasn't really sick.
Yeah, your medicine's a placebo, buddy.
No, it's a gazebo. You know what these are? These are gazebos. But yeah, he tries to convince him, and Eddie's not hearing it. And so then he comes up older, and the old man is still there. Yeah.
You know.
And it's his grandson that's there doing it, and the old man is actually back where he took him before.
Yeah.
And,
talking to himself.
Yeah, all talking to himself, and then next thing you know, you start hearing Pennywise's voice come up, and I don't really remember what he says.
Well, no, he don't say nothing.
Pennywise started talking as the old man.
Through the old man.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said too,
Yeah.
but the old man remembered somehow, this senile old guy that can't care for himself or do anything. He said, H2O, water. It's only water. It's all in your head. And he's like, oh, you remember me. And that's when he grabs him. And
it's a weird looking hand. It's a weird looking hand. It's Pennywise's deformed hand. And yeah.
Fancy blood.
Yeah. And then Eddie struggles free, gets free, and runs out. And then we switch over to Beverly, who is home.
Got the
call. And come to find out that she is married to a abusive jerk, just like her father was. And she says that in the movie. Why did I fall for that? Why did I do that? She says that
how could I have been so blind? Yeah. And Ben's like, well, now you see, so you're not blind. It's like a miracle.
Yeah. And then so she ends up going home. On the note card it says Marsh, but really it says Kirsch. Thanks you, Pennywise. She gets invited in, just like in the new one.
Yeah, your dad's been dead, honey, for about 5 years. Have some tea.
Yep. And she gives her the tea, and the cup is filled with blood.
No, not at first. At first, the old lady's like...
Yeah, that was a weird...
So, yeah. Ugh. And then she looks down, and it's blood, and she's just like...
That was honestly some terrible sound effects.
Yeah, that was something.
That was... you could definitely tell that was dubbed in there, because it was... It was...
Right, she was slurping her tea up.
Yeah.
Dribbles down her little chin.
Yeah. And then Beverly looks, her cup is filled with blood. She drops it. And the old lady's like, oh, it's okay, I'll get it. And then her voice starts changing as she's picking up the glasses. And she looks up and her face is all distorted.
Nah, it's the dead zombie-looking version of her dad. Like, I worry for you, baby, blah, yeah. Okay.
And then he chases her to the door. She gets out.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and
she almost gets hit by a truck or something.
Yeah.
And then she turns around.
And she looks. And it's all been boarded up.
Boarded up, dilapidated.
Nobody's lived there in how long?
Condemned. Yeah. And then he sticks his head out the door and he's like laughing. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. It was something. It was traumatizing for her.
It's traumatizing when you're a kid.
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. It used to be
You're watching this movie as a kid. These movies were scary.
Yeah. Really scary.
And then we get the good scene. Finally, they all start one by one meeting up at the restaurant, and it's a good feel good
reminiscing, scene. Getting reacquainted,
they're
having drinks, eating a meal.
Who is it, Richie? Yeah, Richie shows up and he's freaking out. Then he goes into the restroom,
Don't let him see it like this, man.
Nah. And then he shows up and cracks a joke and everybody's all, yeah.
Beep, beep, Richie.
And this is just a really good scene. Everybody's talking, having fun. It's a good time. They're letting everything go. And then they start talking, Mike, what do you got for us? What's going on? They get a hold of the fortune cookies, and each fortune cookie is different. And I gotta say, I like the fortune cookie scene more in this than in the new one.
Really?
Because everything was practical effects. They weren't CGI.
No, it was real simple and
it was ugly and nasty.
I did like the little creamy birdie one, and then Bill's one was like the spider legs coming out and he threw the little handkerchief over it, you know. That was
and the
okay.
eye was different too.
Yeah, the eye was way better in the new movie. Like the eye's just looking up out of the cookie,
but
like
the fact that it was practical effect rather than
it was made for
CG.
TV.
Well, no.
Low budget.
Yeah, low budget. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I liked it more.
I don't know how.
And then so they rush out and they get out of there. And then that is when we see Henry Bowers sleeping, saying, "Henry." And he looks up, and on the moon, you see Pennywise's face as the moon, telling him, "You need to get out of here. You gotta kill them all." And he agrees to it, and then that is when Belch shows up underneath his bed and hands him a knife, right?
Yeah, his knife, the switchblade.
Oh yeah. Hands him the switchblade knife, and that is where he escapes and he gets out.
Yeah, then he runs up on the guard and kills the guard.
Yep.
Or no. Pennywise.
Oh yeah, I gotta talk about that scene.
He's got the Rottweiler head.
I gotta talk about that scene. Oh my god. Yeah, he shows up and the dude looks down because he's like, "All right, let's go.
Lead the way."
No, the guard.
Oh,
because the guard was a punk.
Yeah.
He was like, "All right,
using mentally crazy people.
And so then he sees Pennywise's face, or sees his feet, looks up, and it's a Rottweiler dog's face. And this scene, I watched it, I laughed out loud. It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid.
It's pretty corny. And where did it come from?
Yeah, like, the dog.
Why?
And then not only that, it charges at him, and it lasted forever. Where the dude falls down on the ground, and the camera slowly falling, coming in closer and closer. It was so cheesy and so stupid. I was just like, you could have cut that like 3 seconds shorter and it would have been alright.
I mean, the whole Rottweiler head on Pennywise was out of left
Where
field.
did that come from?
Yeah, that might be one of the main scenes I didn't like. Because, like, where'd the Rottweiler come in? So, you know what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the bully escapes.
Yeah. And then so we go into Richie. It says Richie Funny. And this is where they find out that Stan dies.
Because they call him again.
Yeah, they call his wife.
You know, tell him if he ain't on his way already, he's a dead man.
Oh, he's already dead.
Well, no, that's what Richie said. And then, you know, they all found out, and Richie threw the phone, and they were all sad. You know, that was sad for them.
And that's when Bill remembers that Richie said that he was the last one to see anything.
Was the last
Stan was the last one. And then we get a flashback of Stan taking videos or pictures of these birds. And he hears his name come from a house. And so he goes into the house.
Well, now we get the scene of Bill riding him on the back of the bike.
Yeah.
And then he tells us what Stan told him. Yeah. And he's at the house.
Yeah, and he sees this mummy chasing him. And all
with
he
the
could
clown fuzzies on the thing.
Yeah. And all he could do was hold his bird book up and say every bird's name
that he could remember.
And then that's when he was like, that's when Bill was like, he had to say, or Pennywise had to be in the form of whatever it took when it came here, or something like that. Because that one bird's name that he said was able to get him out of the house.
Well, no, that's just the last one he said. Being distracted trying to recite something that you know would definitely alleviate your fear because you're concentrating on remembering and thinking. Yeah. So when he lessened in his fright, it made the door unlock or spell weaken or whatever so that he could run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here you go. Stan's head.
I'm in the deadlights now.
Go ahead.
You'll all be here soon. We float. You're all going to float down here. Oh, his head is in the fridge. Oh, man. That was something.
It was a crazy thing. And then Ben was saying something, and Richie made fun of it, saying, hey, whatever you're doing is not helping. You remember that? Can't remember exactly. I think it was Eddie or Ben or something. Somebody was saying something, and he was like, yeah, that's not helping.
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
I had really detailed notes, though, and I didn't bring them. So.
And then Bill's wife, Audra,
calls and tries to get information like, when's your next flight to Maine in the United States?
And then she shows up in Maine and stops at this gas station saying, hey, look, I've been driving forever. How long until Derry? And the dude's like, 50 yards.
Yeah, we're here.
500. Yeah, you're pretty much here. Just go across the bridge and take a left.
But don't you want your balloon first?
And it's Pennywise.
And that's when you see the lights, the dead lights in his eyes, and he mesmerizes her.
And he takes her hostage. And
which again, kind of came out of nowhere. He's eating, devouring all these children. He's got this lady. He's subdued her for sure, like, and holds her captive.
To get Ben and them to come down there. Although they were probably going to do it anyway.
Yeah, they were coming back, converging on Derry to make a plan to combat this evil.
Yeah.
So, like, him not eating her was, that didn't make the most sense to me.
Yeah.
The only reason she didn't get eaten was so that she could be saved at the end.
Yeah, damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Yep.
They give a plot point to Bill's stutter and fright.
And this is where we get another really good scene where they're all sitting around and Ben is giving Beverly a massage. Yeah. And Ben starts talking about his life. How he was running for track and how the coach hated him, said he couldn't do it, and he was like, I got a letter grade, and I came back to my coach and I told him, look what I got. And then the coach sucked me in the face.
Yeah.
And all that. It was a nice little fun scene.
You know how it went from little fat Ben to grown up, not so fat John Ritter. Little backstory in the downtime.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then this is where everybody, well, not everybody, who is it? It's Mike, Bill, and Eddie all go upstairs, and Mike is in one of the rooms because Beverly was getting cold. Oh no, it wasn't Bill, it was Ben. Ben goes into Beverly's room, Mike goes into his room, Eddie goes into his room because they're at the hotel, and Mike gets ambushed by Henry Bowers.
And you think, well, I did the first time I saw the movie. I thought he was dead right there. Like, he was done for. So, and let's see. What happened to Eddie up there? He's in there
I don't think anything happened
washing up or something. I thought something did. But this is where Ben is in the room and he's getting a shawl or something. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie. And he's getting something for Bev, and Bev walks in. And Bev shuts the door behind her like,
I've been waiting for this moment since we've been here.
Your hair is winter fire, and tells the poem to him. And she's like, I knew it was you. I wanted it to be you, blah. Kiss me, you fool. So they start making out and shit, and it's all rewarding for Ben. That's what he has always wanted from when he met her. And he's kissing her and they're making out, sort of 1990s lame making out, and he goes to kiss on her neck and just happens to look up and see the clown pants. And then he looks a little more in detail, and then you see the white gloves wrapped around him where she's embracing him, but it's the clown. And then he looks, and he's got the white smears on his face, and it's Pennywise, and he's like, "Kiss me, fat boy." It's just, he's terrified.
And Pennywise has
great.
his paint
Yes.
smeared too.
Oh,
Ben.
awesome.
The camera just swoops around, and Ben looks over, and Pennywise goes like this. "Kiss me, fat boy."
Love it. Favorite scene.
It was great. It's
Cool.
a super awesome scene.
So the light right after that is where he runs up on Bev. Like she's sitting at the bottom of the steps.
Not yet.
Yeah, like right after that. After he does that, and then it's
No,
like,
we see Henry die. Cause the whole Henry stabs Mike. He switches over to Ben, and then it goes back to the struggle.
okay, yeah, they run in on the
They
room.
run in on the
Yep.
room.
They're
and
struggling.
Henry gets stabbed.
He ends up stabbing himself in the thing and dies, in the struggle.
And then that's when everybody's like, "Okay, we're gonna leave. Put it
Yeah.
on my bill. Put it on my bill.
Yeah,
Put it
they're
on
all
my bill."
leaving.
And Ben sees Beverly down outside on the stairs, and he goes down to talk to her, and
She just so happens to think to say the poem.
well, it also comes back to where they had that moment where she was telling him about, "Why was I so blind?"
Oh, and
And
he's
all that.
embracing her
Yeah.
and that. Then
And then-
it occurs to her.
Yeah, she's like, "He really does. Wait, your hair is
he's
winter
like,
fire."
Damn it, is that you, Bev, or
He
the clown?
Freaks out, dude. He grabs her and shakes her and freaking out.
She said, "It's me,
It's me. It's really me.
And they kiss.
And then they kiss.
From that point on, they're together.
Thank goodness.
Like when they're gonna leave, they're leaving together. Like at the end, they're together. Bill's got a wife anyway.
Yeah. And that is when
So they carry Mike out of there to the hospital.
yeah, they go to the hospital.
Then they go back and get their shit, and then they leave. Like, "Oh, put it on my card. Put it on my card. We're leaving."
Was there a way that Bill found out that? No, he didn't find out yet. Okay.
No.
So then that is when we get like everybody's together, and there's a little flashback of Jonathan Brandis as Bill, the younger Bill, where he's like, "Help me."
That
That
was
scene
a
that you
moving
like.
scene. I love that
Yeah,
scene.
he's
Yeah.
tearing up. He's, "Help me," and then it goes back to older
That boy
Bill.
was phenomenal.
It goes back to older Bill, and he's like, "This time we kill him."
Yeah.
He's like, "Say it." I think he says it to Richie or something like that. But
Still, Richie is apprehensive.
Yeah.
Like, "You guys are crazy. We're gonna die. Let's get out of here."
But he's still like,
And he still stays.
"This time we kill him." And then it goes to where they head to the sewers, and they get to the sewers, and they're climbing down, and that is where Bill finds Audra's purse.
Immediately, like as soon as they get down there, there's a purse within a few feet of them, and he picks it up, and it's his old lady's purse. And he's like, "Oh no, she followed me here. He's got her, blah," and he runs off. Audra, he's trying to find her. And then everybody gives chase. And he's sitting there all in the fetal position, sobbing, and crying. And
They're
Bev's like, "Get
"We
it
can't
together.
do this without you."
You stood up for us before.
Yeah.
We need you to succeed. Like, if
You're the strength. You're the heart.
here, man. You're the leader. We need you."
Yep.
And he collects himself, and they go onward.
And then this is where I said, and you corrected me.
This
I was
is
wrong.
the boat thing.
This is where they meet up in the center and all those little things, and this is where the boat shows up. You were right. I was wrong.
It's okay. Nah.
The boat
Yeah.
shows up coming down the stream, and it stops, and that's where he looks up, and he sees Georgie there, and they're trying to tell him, don't fall into
believe it.
Don't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And finally he doesn't believe it, and Georgie goes away. Georgie goes away, and they all agree to continue moving forward. He takes the boat puts it back on the stream, and then they follow the boat to the door. And this door leads into another chamber of the sewers. And it happens to be the chamber of where Pennywise has been living this whole time.
You know, like the seal and the hatch in the new movie?
Yep.
But that little door was that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So, they get down there and I guess they see it? Or no, it starts to emerge. And then they see it.
Yeah, because they were going to go and he sees Audra. He's about to go and get her, and then that's when they look over and
it's like some dragon scaled looking
spider
massive
thing.
Freakish looking alien spider thing or something.
Terrible CGI.
Not very good. You know, some antique Ray Harryhausen.
I understand
effects,
it's TV movie and it's 1990.
Low budget, we get it, but it was.
That was bad. It's bad CGI.
You're from a terrifying, menacing clown to some dragon robot looking spiderish thing, you know, whatever.
Yep. And then so they start.
Bill comes up on it and gets caught in the deadlights. It rears up and shows its little abs, its whatever. And then Richie in the deadlights, Ben in the deadlights, leaves Eddie there to flash back and remember him spraying it with the inhaler, the clown, when they was kids. So he gets the brilliant idea
do it again.
to try it again.
But right before that, and we forgot to mention this earlier, Mike had actually gone back down into the sewers. And he found those metal
silver chunks.
Yeah, that they used to
bash. Slingshotted to stop Pennywise when they were kids.
And so then they gave them to Bev to use again, and she misses the first one, and the second one hits it and bounces just right off.
Yeah.
And so then she goes and she's looking at the deadlights, and she goes and she finds one.
That's why Eddie was there by himself.
Yeah.
Because she had scurried about around the action behind everything to find the silver thing.
Yeah. And then Eddie goes and this is battery acid, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then it grabs Eddie.
Yeah.
Picks him up.
Broken ribs, crushed, whatever.
Yeah, he's thrashed around,
now.
all this stuff. And then Beverly takes the silver chunk and shoots it into the belly.
Right in the deadlights.
And you see all these little fireworks going off in his belly.
Yeah, it's like some crazy. Yeah, the effects were definitely lackluster, even for 1990.
Yeah.
Like, because I can go watch some old movies and see way better shit. Anyway, so it blows up and it's all wounded. It's not dead. It's wounded and it tries to flee. And you know, Eddie's dead. You know, they find out Eddie's dead after everything calms down, and they give chase. They're like, this time we kill it, like he was saying. They give chase and they follow this thing, and lame enough, they run up on it and just push it over and start kicking its belly open and chest open and rip out its heart.
Yep.
Nothing like the awesome, detailed, graphic scene that we just saw to end the remakes tonight. That was amazing.
Yep.
This
so
it
then
was
they
so
kill
lame.
It.
They pushed it over
and
just
it was a lame
beat on it and tore
this
its heart out.
Cosmic entity just
this
died.
Big
that
I understand getting
hurt. I understand getting hurt
and running
running. But to die that way, it was just
so simple.
Yeah, it was so simple for such a big build-up.
You want to call that cheesy? That's cheesy. That's cheesy.
Yeah.
Like the Rottweiler thing. Cheesy, man. That looking back on it, I'm disappointed with that.
I also think the ending is cheesy. The real ending is cheesy as well, where everybody goes off and does their own thing, and then Audra was never. They said that she was never the same.
She was like catatonic.
Yeah.
Like in a vegetative state.
Yeah.
After seeing the deadlights.
And Bill goes and gets Silver, and puts her on Silver.
Well, no, it's a few months. They stayed in Derry.
Yeah.
A few months goes by, and she's unresponsive to anything. Then he gets.
He was going to put her in a cab, but he was like, I remember Silver saved me. It saved some of my friends. Maybe it'll save you too. And they're riding down the street, letting people get into wrecks and crashing and all this stuff.
Messing up traffic.
And she happens to come too.
Oh, I love you. You're so saved.
Right in the middle of the intersection where everybody's just sitting there and they kiss, they make up, or not make
credits.
Up. And then end credits.
With a little Pennywise laugh.
And the music.
That was in my notes.
And
that
the
was
music.
cool. That was great.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And so, yeah, that is our in-depth review of It Original Part 2. It has some good moments. A lot of the scenes where a lot of them were together, a lot of the adults were together, and where it was, I was more into the movie when it was just them. In all honesty.
Well, I mean, I was definitely into the Pennywise scenes, all of them. That's what the scary is. You know, the end was, I don't want to say garbage because I gave it like a 6.5. I really liked the movie. I'm just not a fan of the ending.
Yeah. Yep. And I gave it a 5 out of 10. All right. So, yeah, like we said in our last video, we can't really remember what we are going to see next week.
But we got plans.
But we do got plans, and hopefully they're good ones.
Oh, it's going to be good. Everything we do is good, y'all.
All right, so if you like this, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like, share, and please
subscribe.
Thank you all, everybody, for watching, and have a good one. Give you a little,
peace.
Yeah, that.